Dass sich allgemein eine anti-jüdische Stimmung verbreitet hat, das finde ich sehr natürlich.
To the Freikorps, who celebrated in Munich after the suppression of the Räterepublik, the Jews were convenient scapegoats, held to blame for all the country's ills. And the Freikorps had the support of right-wing officers in the regular army, like Captain Ernst Röhm, a man with a simple philosophy.
Since I am an immature and wicked man, war and unrest appeal to me more than good bourgeois order. Brutality is respected. The people need wholesome fear. They want to fear something. They want someone to frighten them and make them shudderingly submissive.
In Munich, Röhm was heavily involved in the violent politics of the extreme right, and in 1919 he joined the small German Workers' Party. Here he met a 30-year-old veteran of World War I, Corporal Adolf Hitler, a man who shared with Röhm a deep hatred of communists and Jews. Hitler had also joined the German Workers' Party in 1919. His membership card said he was member 555. But in reality, he was member 55, because the party started numbering people from 500 to make it look as if they had more members. Hitler was like thousands of other ex-soldiers in Munich, drifting without a regular job. But now he discovered he had one natural talent. He could channel his hatred and anger at the way the war had ended into powerful speeches.
Wenn ich ganz ehrlich bin, und das wissen auch Freunde von mir, denen ich das schon oft gesagt habe, von Mensch zu Mensch, Hitler hat vom Antlitz zum Antlitz, war ich eigentlich von ihm mit seinem Schnauzbart gar nicht begeistert. Aber er konnte mich begeistern durch die Kraft seiner Rede. Und er konnte mich nicht nur begeistern, sondern hat mich auch überzeugt. Und das ist anscheinend bei allen gelungen.
Hitler spoke repeatedly about what he claimed was the iniquity of the Versailles Peace Treaty, signed at the end of World War I. Under the treaty, Germany lost large amounts of her own territory and was forced to pay reparations to the victors. In the early 1920s, inflation spiraled out of control.
Wenn ich daran denke, dass ich da 4 Billionen für eine Wurstsemmel bezahlt habe, ne? Das war schon ein Zusammenbruch. Denn die Leute haben gesagt, so kann es nicht weitergehen. Und dann ging es langsam an mit der Diskussion, da muss ein starker Mann muss kommen. Und das wurde immer stärker, die Sache nach dem starken Mann, weil die Demokratie nichts zu Wege brachte.
In Bavaria, by 1921, Hitler had become the leader of the small German Workers' Party, renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazis for short. It was still one of many different right-wing parties in Munich, and they still all said the same. Versailles was a crime, and the Jews were behind it. But Hitler's dynamism, together with the uncompromising tone of his speeches, began to attract other prominent Bavarians to the fledgling Nazi party. In 1922, a World War I flying ace joined the Nazis, the holder of the Pour le Mérite Award for gallantry and commander of the Richthofen Squadron during World War I, Hermann Göring.
I joined the party because it was revolutionary, not because of any ideological nonsense.
The Nazi party began to spread its appeal into the Bavarian countryside. One agricultural student, who was to become a chicken farmer, found in the Nazis an expression of his own obsession with the mystic relationship between German blood and German soil.
The yeoman of his own acre is the backbone of the German people's strength and character. Cowards are born in towns, heroes in the country.
the words of another Bavarian, Heinrich Himmler, chicken farmer and later commander of the SS. In January 1923, Hitler and the Nazis exploited the discontent caused by the French occupation of the Ruhr. French troops came to enforce reparation payments. They succeeded in alienating the Germans.
Es war also viel Schikane. Es kam allgemein Hunger, Not, Elend und, was uns sehr betroffen hat, auch eine Demütigung hinzu. Und da haben wir dann doch erlebt, dass die Franzosen mit ziemlich harter Hand regiert haben. Wenn es ihnen nicht passte, man ging auf den Bürgersteig, kamen sie mit der Reitpeitsche und man musste auf den Fahrdamm hinuntergehen. Und wollten vielleicht überhaupt Rache nehmen.
In Munich in 1923, in the atmosphere of crisis caused by the occupation of the Ruhr, Hitler and the Nazis acted. Hitler stood on the stage of the Bürgerbräukeller on November the 8th and interrupted a right-wing political meeting. He called for a national revolution to start in Bavaria and overthrow the left-wing government in Berlin. The next day, the Nazis, together with other right-wing parties, marched through Munich to gain support. They were stopped by the police at the War Memorial at the Feldherrnhalle. The Nazis hoped the army and police, many of whom supported right-wing parties, would join them in a march on Berlin.
Wir haben geglänzt als Marschierer und kommen dann in die Maximilianstraße, die überkreuzen wir. Und wie ich dann an die Ecke der Residenz komme, hören wir die Schüsse fallen.
The police didn't support them. Shots were fired, and the marchers were routed. Hitler fled from the scene. 4 policemen and 16 Nazis lost their lives.
Sie haben mich schon einmal gefragt, was ich da für Emotionen gehabt habe. Ne? Da möchte ich sagen, ja, da habe ich eigentlich die ersten politischen Emotionen gehabt, ne? Wie etwas eben, wie etwas schief gehen kann. Ne? Das war schon an sich ein Schlag für mich und für viele meiner Kameraden, dass das passieren konnte.
Hitler was tried along with the other leaders of the putsch in early 1924. The trial was a media sensation, with entrance to the court by ticket only. During the putsch, the Nazis hadn't just killed 4 policemen outside the Feldherrnhalle. They had also organized a bank robbery. A defiant Hitler told the court,
"You may pronounce us guilty 1,000 times, but the goddess who presides over the eternal court of history will, with a smile, tear in pieces the charge of the public prosecutor and the verdict of this court, for she acquits us."
Hitler became famous for his apparently brave stand, but it was a con trick. For he knew as he spoke that the judge would be lenient towards him. Hidden from the public was the truth about a previous appearance Hitler had made in a Bavarian court. More than 2 years before, at the Löwenbräukeller, Nazi thugs, egged on by Hitler, had disrupted a left-wing meeting, dragged the speaker off the stage and beaten him up. Almost all of the documents relating to the trial which followed were seized by the Nazis when they came to power and later burnt. But 1 or 2 from this earlier Hitler trial survived, hidden in the archive. And they tell truths the Nazis wanted to hide. Hitler was given the minimum sentence possible, 3 months in prison. But the sympathy of the judge didn't stop there. He wrote to the appeal court in support of Hitler and asked them to reduce his sentence even more. As a result, Hitler served only 1 month in prison and a period on probation. The judge in Hitler's first trial was called Georg Neidhardt, the same judge whom the Bavarian authorities allowed to preside over the putsch trial. It must have been obvious to Hitler that the court would be lenient towards him. And they were. Hitler had attempted revolution, incited murder, and his followers had robbed a bank.